I'm Warner Johnson.
I'm Sam Metzger.
I'm Michael Bishop.
I'm Colin Daig, and this is Clown Sports Talk Show.
No, what are you?
I'm the clown.
Yeah! All right. Before we get to that, we have our first guest today. This is Mr. Tristan Barrow. Tristan, say hello to the people.
He's a
people.
He's a Cowboys fan.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
we proud Cowboys fan.
He
shouldn't be allowed in this house.
You can boo him now.
You do not have to boo him.
Okay.
You should be booing the rest of these people.
Can we get a like if you hate Tristan already?
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of likes on this video.
We have more likes than views.
Zero.
People find a way to like twice.
So he mentioned he's a Cowboys and then he's a Lakers fan. So actually we're going to start off with probably the greatest Laker of all time. Not the best player to ever play for the Lakers, but definitely the greatest Laker. Do we all agree that Kobe Bryant was the best Laker of all time?
He definitely is.
Yeah.
With Mamba.
Yeah. Just for what he meant to like LA. Yeah. So tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of when him and Gigi and I forget how many others. It was like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
There's a baseball coach and his son.
They passed away. That was a year ago, man.
Already.
That's so wild.
It's already been a year.
Crazy.
I remember where I was. Me and Sam had just gotten home from that confirmation retreat.
Yep.
I was cleaning my room and my mom walks in. She's like, "Did you see it?" And I'm like, and she's like, "I think Kobe died." And I was like, "No." I was like, no, you're capping. So I go on Instagram and I see it and I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I was just, I don't know what reactions y'all had, but I couldn't speak.
I was just shocked.
I didn't
shocked,
believe it, bro. I was like, I don't believe this.
I was just denying.
I thought it was a joke at first.
like for a good day, I just didn't believe it.
No, bro, I'm not gonna lie.
I just thought it had
cried.
to be.
Like a little bit, I cried a little bit.
I was just sad. I didn't cry, but I was sad.
I'm not gonna lie. Because I cried when I found out the first time, and then whenever the news came out that his daughter died, like the one that they've been hyping up to be in WNBA.
That was sad.
Oh, that just crushed my soul.
That was tough.
We have, I brought, this is my pair of his last game, Black Mamba, Fade to Black, Kobe 11s. They're the one he wore his last game. I thought today was the day I could bring them out. They're going to be in the prop set behind us today after this segment. We got a few props. We're trying to spice things up today.
Michael likes Travis Scott, if you can't tell.
Yeah, if you can't already tell.
Yeah, just a little bit.
If you didn't already
In
tell.
case y'all didn't know.
I thought it was a sports talk show, but apparently we do more than that.
We're going to add more stuff. Yeah, but I want to hear what like Kobe meant to y'all. I know he meant a lot to me. He was one of my favorite athletes when I was a kid.
All right.
I know.
Let's start with Tristan.
Yeah, let's start with Tristan. He's a true Lakers fan. So
I grown up a Lakers fan. You know, born right after the three-peat. Grew up watching them, like almost every game. It's just tough. You know, he's always been my favorite player. And just when I saw the news, I was just at home. I think I was watching like the Pro Bowl or something.
Yeah,
because
The
that
Pro
was that
Bowl
same
song.
day.
And then they announced it at the Pro Bowl, and the crowd was just like,
Yeah, it was. I couldn't watch it after that. I don't know. I had to turn it off and just take a minute. I was just at first I was denying it, thinking it was fake, because it first came from TMZ, not the most reliable source.
Yeah, they would be the ones that make that up.
Yeah,
how
it was
did
just.
TMZ get it first?
I don't know.
I have no
I mean,
idea.
it
It is TMZ, so.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like, and then when I found out his daughter died too, that's what ended up. That's what got me crying. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely something hard. I mean, like, I never was a Kobe Bryant fan, like, specifically. Like, I knew who he was. I enjoyed watching him play. Because he's a fun guy to watch. He's a fun guy to watch
Yeah,
when he's playing on the court.
These buckets.
But, so I never really paid attention to it, but, like, it doesn't matter who it is. When people die like that, tragic. It's just tragic, especially the way it happened.
Especially his daughter.
Yeah, the fact that
Him and his daughter.
people
And
that
then there were other people,
I mean, there were other people
They were also young and were on that basketball
It was,
team.
yeah.
I don't. It's like the Mamba mentality team or something.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Games they were going
It
to.
was their team. They
Three
had
or four
friends.
It was they brought their friends or something like that, and they all.
Yeah.
They had some friends, and literally the whole family died except their son who was in college.
That's sad.
and that was.
It was insane.
I mean, I can tell you right now, if I ever win the lottery, I'm not buying a helicopter. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
That's
Just because of the situation.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, obviously it was tough because I'm more of like a recent like basketball fan in general. Like basketball was never like my biggest sport until probably like 2.5, 3 years ago. So like I've always known who Kobe was, and like anytime I play basketball, I know you always Kobe. Obviously, even you're shooting a paper ball.
I'm raising my kids on that. My
Oh,
kids
yeah.
are shooting.
You're shooting a paper ball.
Kobe
Yeah.
when they shoot.
It doesn't like you say Kobe and like it just hits because that's like a part of your childhood. Like regardless
Yeah.
whether you're like a huge Lakers fan or you're just a fan of the sport, and like he like was a pioneer of modern basketball. Like he helped make the game what it is today. He helped broaden it, and it's just crazy.
Were you there at Edge when I heard a kid yell Curry whenever he threw in his trash when we were giving out snacks? Was that you?
I think so.
And I got so mad. I was like, no, you say Kobe. You don't say nobody else's name. He said Curry. I was like, no, I don't care if he's the greatest shooter of all time. You say Kobe
Exactly.
Bean Bryant. Full name. The
Hey,
whole thing.
If anything, you gotta say Ray Allen. You know what I'm saying? But no, we saying Kobe.
No, you don't say it. You don't say Ray.
I said if anything, but like you gotta say Ray Allen before Curry. I think.
Curry's the best.
We're off topic.
We're not getting
Off track.
we're
Getting a
but-
little off track here.
All right, Warner, where were you? Because you were the only person I didn't know when this news happened. If y'all don't know, we met Warner a few months ago.
Beginning of
Now,
school.
yeah, beginning of like August-ish.
Like 5 months.
Yeah, something like that. Almost half a year.
I
But
mean-
like, I don't know where you were at.
I wasn't too into basketball, and I'm getting more and more into it, but I was just chilling at home. I didn't believe it was real. My sister came in the room. She said, "Oh, did you see that?" And it was just, it's sad. And he heard his daughter was in there with him. It made it so much worse. And whoever else was on the plane with him, being like the teammates and stuff. It just sucks.
You don't even have to know basketball to know.
Yeah, that's
Kobe.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
everyone knows
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Transcended. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Kobe's like an icon. He's like
Yeah.
probably the most, other than like Michael Jordan and LeBron, probably the most well-known basketball player of all time.
Definitely.
He might even be
Yeah.
more than them.
He's one of the most
I
well-known
agree.
athletes.
He's top three.
If those
Top three most
Those
well-known.
three.
Yeah, those three are
Those three are the
most
top
well-known.
most.
No.
And like out of all athletes, even he's like one of the most well-known
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of players where even if you don't follow the sport they play, you know
still
who
good.
they are, and he's
Yeah.
one.
All right, so we're going into talking about like reactions to the games, and my opening statement is: I told y'all Brady was gonna win this. I told y'all.
He called it.
I did. Well, y'all all bet against Brady. Who won? Who won? Who won?
Okay, look, you can't.
won?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
The
Brady's
Chiefs did
good.
win.
Brady's.
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers
Rodgers had an MVP season though. It was hard to bet against Aaron
It was.
Rodgers.
3 picks.
not to mention he had a
The
better
Packers defense got him 3 picks, and he still didn't win it.
I mean, if LaFleur goes for it on that 4th and goal, maybe he does.
It's facts.
3 picks.
Aaron
He had
Rodgers
3
overrated
turnovers.
it.
That's a momentum
Packers defense.
changer, bro.
There was a lot
Packers
of
defense
stuff
had 3
that could happen.
turnovers. I understand that, but Packers defense had three turnovers. They were doing good for what they are.
Did
They were doing
They're a
really
solid
What
defense.
was their stats? How many did they score off turnovers? You know?
Not a lot. I
I
think they had
don't know.
6
Whose
points
fault
off.
is that for Rodgers?
It's terrible.
Packers defense
I mean,
didn't
you
get
can't
the
put it
stop when it mattered.
I mean, that's
most,
a good
and
Bucks defense,
Rodgers didn't get the
too.
ball.
I mean, okay.
It is,
let me say what I saw. I saw Brady, and I saw him play amazing, but
The first half.
Yeah.
Brady, Schmady, Chiefs and foe quarters.
We're not
Not
we-
going there. We're not going there.
Okay.
Next,
Not going into predictions.
next week we're gonna make our predictions.
Hold on, before you finish that, they're playing in Tampa. I'm leaving it at that. They're
All right.
playing in Tampa.
Anyways, the
They are the
other
first
game that
team
we
ever
had.
to.
The other game.
No. No one's.
So,
not
so-
everyone's talking about Packers Bucks. I want to talk about it because I want to talk about one thing. I barely saw Aaron Jones. Did he not play?
He did.
He did.
didn't
He
really.
played.
It's
He
just
didn't
that
make too much of an
run
impact.
defense.
No,
the
but
AJ
I'm
Dillon
saying
run.
I saw them
Oh.
hand it off to Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon
A lot
more
way
than
too
I
much.
saw
I'm
them
pretty
hand it
sure
off to
they
Aaron
don't
Jones. when we get into top 10 running backs, which is what we're talking about, Aaron Jones is on my list.
I think he's on
Why
all
are they
of
not
ours.
using him more?
I'm pretty sure he got injured because he was getting all the carries until in the first half. And the second half came around, he just
Maybe
started
okay.
hard.
Someone in
backed the ball some in the
okay.
fourth
Someone
quarter.
in the comments can tell us that. But from what I saw, he either got injured or they just gave up on him.
I don't think they give up.
I don't think they gave up on him. I think a lot of it is if you watch the Packers this season, anytime Jamal Williams came in, he did the same production, but it was a different run style. And I think they were trying to run that way to get something going because the way that Aaron Jones was running was not
So
working.
should I put Jamal
I mean, it
Williams
was
on my
working.
top 10 running backs?
They're interchangeable. And
Aaron
I don't
Jones
think-
is-
I don't think Aaron Jones should be on there.
The problem,
You don't?
no, the problem,
No.
Warner, is it was working when Aaron Jones was in there. If you watched the game, he was getting first downs consistently.
He played
had
better.
He literally
They had a
the
better.
drive
They have
after-
a much better run game when they undisputably.
Y'all are
made
gonna
it
laugh
off.
at his list.
Hold on. The drive,
take him out then.
I'm
literally
sure we
the
will.
drive after
Unless he
Leonard
got
Fournette did that awesome spin move and dove into the touchdown.
I don't remember.
And Aaron Jones did the exact same thing. He didn't get a touchdown, but he literally got like 20 or 30
It's a
yards.
much
don't
better run
remember.
defense.
Against a much better.
Oh, yeah.
They're ranked
Way
number
better.
1.
But I
Just
just
the
don't
run
remember.
defense,
If he
yeah.
got injured, fair. But I don't think he got injured.
He didn't.
I'm like 90%
If
sure.
he did
he
get
got
injured, then whatever.
I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't tell you.
I don't think
got
he did.
injured.
Still.
I don't think
I
it
don't
was like a
remember.
huge injury, but I think it was something that he tweaked, and they were like, "Okay, Jamal Williams is good enough."
I remember
I don't
seeing
think
him on
He's
that
not
last
Aaron
drive.
Jones. Jamal Williams
There's
is not
not-
Aaron
If
Jones.
you've watched him this season anytime,
I
besides his game,
I
anytime he's
can't
came in, he's done the same
recall,
thing.
but like someone in the comments will recall, or we'll go back and we'll watch this and maybe we'll edit it in or something.
Yeah.
But does anyone else have any reactions to Packers Bucks?
Just that, LaFleur not going for it on that 4th and goal was a huge
You
mistake.
think Aaron
Yeah,
Jones-
I
you
was
think-
not
you
a
think-
fan of
You think
that.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna ask for his job?
I don't think he's going to ask for a job because he has gotten him to the NFC Championship.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers
twice
is
in a
gonna-
row?
Do you think, as in, like, he's gonna be the head coach, or he's gonna ask him to leave?
No,
he's
not
asking
Aaron.
to leave.
No, ask him to leave.
Okay, I was like, you think Aaron Rodgers is
No, not
retiring?
gonna take his job.
Okay,
like,
that's
take
what I
his
thought
job
you meant.
away.
Okay, I thought you were like saying that Aaron Rodgers is gonna retire
Because
and become
Aaron
the
Rodgers
Packers
is
head
one of
coach.
those players to that franchise that if he walked in and he said, "I don't want Matt LaFleur to be the coach anymore," they'd be
He's
like,
already-
"Okay, I guess Matt LaFleur's not the coach anymore."
He's such a.
I don't see how you fire a coach that made
Okay,
two
I don't
like
think
were
they
they first
can.
or second in the NFC?
They
were first.
They were the first
I don't know
seed.
how you-
And
yeah.
a
then
team that
they
was
made
the
the
first-
NFC Championship
He
twice
does that. I
Twice in a
and
row.
blew
respect
it
for him.
twice. But with Rodgers, you gotta expect the fact that. Do we all consider Aaron Rodgers the most talented quarterback? I'm not saying he's the
At
best.
what point-
The most talented quarterback of all time.
Yes.
He's
He's
not
the
the
most
best.
At
He's
what
the
point
most
are you gonna put a
talented.
little bit of blame on him? The Packers defense forced 3 turnovers, 3 picks. At what point are you gonna put a little bit of blame on Rodgers? I'm waiting for it.
I give a little bit of blame to
I'm
Rodgers,
waiting.
but I get a lot of it to the coaching and to the lineups that they had in.
Yeah.
I give a lot of it to the coaching. And that's why I'm saying
That
it
was
wouldn't
the
surprise
season
me.
beforehand.
In that interview, Aaron
That was
Rodgers said,
the season
expect a
beforehand.
lot of changes.
Yeah.
And when Aaron Rodgers says, expect a lot of changes,
Expect a lot of
expect a lot of
Hold
changes.
on, hold on. That wasn't the full quote though. The full quote was everybody's job is in jeopardy,
Including his.
mine.
Yep.
So I don't think it's like a team thing. It's they're gonna move.
I think
a
the
lot of
only
people
person-
Does this mean that he wants out? Like I didn't. I didn't
They
hear
did
that.
draft
sounded
Jordan
like
Love in the first
Sounds
round.
like he might
Hey,
want out.
yo, let me tell you, Houston's a nice place, Aaron. If we lose tonight to Sean, Houston is a nice place.
Hey, blow this up so we can get Aaron Rodgers.
We got warm. we got warm weather. We got an indoor stadium. You don't got to worry about the snow no more. You know
Hey, maybe
We
like,
got-
play in a crappy division.
that
Not
too.
anymore. Not anymore.
Nah,
not a horrible
yeah, that's
division.
true.
They're still the Jags. I mean, that's
Trevor
Indy-
Lawrence and Urban Meyer. Maybe
Trevor-
we're not gonna get into that,
And
but maybe.
Indy's solid.
all
Tennessee
right,
is
let's move on to
solid.
the next game. I'll start off with this because y'all know how high I am.
Yeah.
Okay, first off.
Here we go.
Y'all are hyping up this game. Yes, Bills Mafia, but I'm more of a supporter of Josh Allen, and Josh Allen played better
Blew
than
it.
Patrick Mahomes. He lost, but he played better. I think Mahomes won.
How many points did Josh Allen score? 22?
Okay, Mahomes had running backs who ran for 150 yards. Is that not good?
Because they
Allen
total,
led his team
that's
in
the
rushing.
game.
No, like
so,
between the
Yeah.
two or three that they had that ran.
So, Colin,
yes,
when you're
It's
that
not
game.
a lot
Colin,
combined.
when you're up
It's a
in a
decent
game, you run the ball, right?
Yeah.
They were
You're
running the
on
ball
clock.
the entire game. That's how they beat them in week 6.
They're like first
That's the
touchdown.
Yeah.
point.
But that's
also
because
got-
they won.
So
They won.
had the only one
I'm
who was
pretty
better
sure
was
Travis
passing.
Kelce went for like 10, 150, and like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
How do you
Okay,
not
well,
look
that
at
was
that
all of
and-
Patrick Mahomes' passing yards. He only passed for 200 and... Or no, it wasn't 200. That was Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes passed for
So
336
you're
yards
saying
and had
Josh
no
Allen
running yards.
played better than Patrick Mahomes?
Besides take out the interception, yes.
I think Josh Allen.
He had more
well.
total yards
I
of
don't think
offense.
he played
He
better.
just
than
didn't have a better
Who has
defense.
the better defense?
The Chiefs?
No.
They're ranked higher
No.
statistically. I looked
the
before
Bills
the game.
are the better defense.
No, they're not.
Yes,
I think
They
about
are
it.
ranked number 17
They're about
statistically. The Chiefs are
They're
ranked
around the
14.
same.
They're about the same.
They're okay.
It's
They're
not a
about
huge
even.
If you
difference.
adjust
I'd
for
take the
opponents,
Bills
I think if you adjust for opponents.
Okay, but if you watch,
Yeah.
we watched some of the game. I know we didn't watch all of it, but if you watch that secondary for the Chiefs was ridiculous.
So was the Bills.
Stephon Diggs had 12 yards going into the third quarter, the middle of
Whose
it.
fault is that?
Nobody's. The secondary was good.
So
Travis Kelce had like 100
So
yards.
the Bills don't have a top 5 corner or a top 5 safety. They don't.
They do.
Okay,
What about-
but that doesn't
hey,
make
hold
sense.
on, hold on.
They have to
They don't?
straight.
Hey,
Can
do
the
y'all
top 5
remember-
safety guard Travis
Do
Kelce
y'all
and
remember-
Tyreek Hill? Hold on. Can the top 5 safety guard both of
Tre'Davious
them?
White, the corner.
Tre'Davious
Then the
White.
safety gets the other one.
Can he try
Great
both?
for
Can
it.
they both one-on-one both of them?
I don't know.
Is Travis Kelce a guy you can do one like with one player?
Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember?
Travis Kelce is
no,
a two-player
you don't.
guy.
Do y'all remember
You
that-
cannot make that argument.
You do, and you gotta get beat.
No, that's just a horrible argument.
Not always.
I'm just trying to
There's guys
say
who can do it, or used to do it at least.
Patrick Mahomes didn't win that game. He
So,
played good.
hold on.
Don't get me wrong.
I
He
got
played
a
good.
game.
Andy Reid won that game.
I got
that defense.
I
won that game.
got
the
two,
secondary.
I
won
got
that
two
game.
things for you, Mr. Josh Allen defender. So, one, that safety he's talking about, Micah Hyde. You were riding him a week ago.
We
Micah
talk about-
Hyde
That's
is
different.
the most important player in this game.
That's way different. I said that for the Ravens game because the Ravens are a running offense.
Why would a safety be the most important?
Because
game
he's
against
the
a running
big, he's the
offense?
guy filling the holes when they're running.
That's
He's
not
not
true.
That's a
Did you
That's
watch
the
the game?
linebacker.
Did you watch the game?
Linebackers are more
Well, he-
important, but
okay,
if
but
you're
he
talking
still did it.
specifically about the Bills, Micah Hyde
You
is
should have gave it to
part.
Matt Milano.
And
He
so
should have
is
been the
Poyer.
most important game.
It's like always.
If you watch the game,
This
he
will
was
be
the
one
one
of
filling the
your
holes. I don't care if
This
he's
is every
not a
time for y'all?
linebacker. He was doing it. If you watch the game, that's what he was doing all game because they're blitzing 9.
Their defenses are about even.
That was their defense.
Their defenses are about even.
I'd take the
Yes,
Bills
but one
defense
played
over
better.
the
It
Chiefs.
doesn't matter.
And one offense ran better overall, and they ran all over
Because
the
they have
Bills
more
defense.
options.
And Patrick Mahomes won the game.
Okay, you put Josh Allen in that situation. Is Josh Allen winning that game?
Yes, not even close.
So you switch
with those options.
You
and
switch
Andy Reid-
Patrick
If you
Mahomes.
swap teams.
And I'd still
Okay.
take Patrick Mahomes.
No,
I think the
I'd take
Chiefs
Patrick
win, but it's
Mahomes
closer.
over Josh Allen, but I think Josh Allen in that situation would also have won.
exactly. You can't.
I
say,
think Mahomes is better
I
than
think
Allen.
I think you can make
But
the
it'd be
argument.
closer.
I had Mahomes.
It would
over.
have been closer.
I think it's a
But
closer game,
I think Allen,
Allen with the
the
Chiefs
Chiefs are a better
would win.
situation. I think the Chiefs still win.
Allen still makes bad decisions.
Mahomes was over.
He makes some,
Mahomes
but it's
was
a lot
over
less
Josh
than he
Allen,
did
but-
starting out. Like
Mahomes,
he's
yeah.
Mahomes
yeah.
is better.
What is it? What is
but
this?
Made
Josh
no
Allen
bad decisions.
Or Watson,
Yeah.
or any of those young QBs that are like that good. You put them in that same position with the Chiefs, they're gonna win.
Any?
The young,
Any
the
good-
good,
the young good
superstar
ones.
young
Young
guys.
guys.
What are the superstar
Watson,
young guys?
Mahomes, Allen.
That's it.
That's all I can think of on the top of my
Herbert?
head. But
Not
I think
Herbert's
maybe
too young.
not
superstar.
Herbert's
He's too young to say.
Y'all
But-
gonna get mad
yeah.
if I say Dak.
He could be.
I give him
could
yeah.
be. You can't say that.
Not
But
yet.
He doesn't have an ankle to
I
play
think
now,
you put
does
those
he?
kind of guys in
Healthy
there,
Dak.
they all win the game.
Healthy Dak wins that game.
But Kyler Murray.
Healthy.
No,
Kyler Murray.
not counting.
Healthy Saquon.
Tyler Murray.
Healthy Saquon must have been 200 that
Kyler
game.
Murray with Hill, Kelsey, that run game, and Andy
We're
Reid.
not going
He's not
back to
passing.
quarterback arguments. I'm not going back to that.
Yeah, we're not
Okay,
going back to that.
Tristan.
But that's just what I wanted to say. Josh Allen played.
I want to hear what Tristan has to say about the game.
Yeah, Tristan.
Yeah.
I think that Allen he played well. I don't think he played better than Mahomes. I think the Bills are going to be a good.
Keep that in.
Do not edit that out, please. No.
Continue speaking.
No, you should put it in a
Oh,
slow
God.
motion of like.
Speak from your background.
Okay. I think the Bills are going to be a good team in the AFC. They're going to be one of the top teams in there for a while. I think that the Chiefs are the better team and Mahomes is the better.
Is it going to be a repeat of the 90s where like they make the Super Bowl and they make the championship but they never win it?
I think that could happen. I'm not being-
As long as
If
Brady's in the
Deshaun
NFC.
Watson, if Deshaun Watson goes to the Dolphins, Josh Allen's not even winning that division.
Hey, as long as
All
Andy,
facts, no printer.
I think it
How about
depends
that?
on who they get in the offseason. I think those two teams would be really
If
close.
the Bills-
If Deshaun goes to the Dolphins with that defense, come on.
I think they're.
You realize the
I hope
Texans,
it's
the
not.
Texans defense
I hope it's
isn't
not.
bad. They were just
If
injured
If
last
that
year.
happens, those
past
are the
few
two
years,
teams
oh
that
my-
take
we
the
had like
Oh.
3 agent corners playing this year because we were that injured.
Yeah, I know.
We
I
literally
think
had to,
this
like,
year we
take up
were
corners
injured,
on a
but
weekly
in
basis.
Deshaun's past years, we've been good.
Yeah, and he's
we-
made the playoffs in those past years.
Exactly. It would be the same with
Our
the
entire
Dolphins.
defense was riddled by injuries.
Win the
But
division with the Dolphins.
Yeah, we literally had to like pick up like a waiver wire like corner every week just to like have someone to play.
And there was injuries at every level.
It was bad.
Our entire defense
It was our defense just was I feel like UT last year where we had so many injuries.
Horns down. Horns down. Screw UT, bro. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment.
Yep.
I think we talked about that enough. I got my point across.
Alrighty.
So we're just gonna go straight in. We're gonna do top 10 running back lists. We like to do these a lot.
So are we gonna do one and then go down the line? Who else is the
Let's
number
go
one?
one person at a time.
I think we should
person
do
at a
top
time?
3 first because I think it's gonna be the same guys, maybe just different orders, except maybe Tristan.
I know. At least compared to Sam's list, I have 2 different guys in my top 3.
Okay, so let's just. Who wants to start? I won't start because I talked first.
Everyone's
I've
number
started
one.
third.
I want to start with Sam. I know
Sam,
it's
you
number
got
one.
Okay, number 1 got King Henry.
I agree.
So do I.
Probably the best one.
Does everybody have
Either number 1 or number 2 rusher in the league.
Is he not your number 1?
Is he
He's
everyone's
top
number one?
He's in my 3.
He has
Oh,
CMC,
your
he
number.
has CMC
Okay, name
one.
off
You
your
have
top
CMC
3.
on one?
Name off your top 3.
No. We're going by one. What's your one?
CMC.
One by one.
That's fair.
That's a very
Okay.
fair argument. I think
I
it's
get that.
whoever you like more.
Okay.
They're
Okay,
both good.
Number 2, I got Alvin Kamara.
You're wrong.
Dude, Sam.
No.
I'm messing with
No.
your list, bro.
Simply you're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong too. Y'all
Simply
are both
he's
right.
right.
No,
Alvin Kamara number 2, based off what? The 6
Over
touchdown game. That's
McCaffrey, I
it.
think is correct.
And the
Not
receiving.
just off that, he's a receiving back. He's a receiving back that can also run the ball clearly.
Very
So
well.
4th most yards on the year with the 2nd most touchdowns.
He wasn't
He's top
injured.
2.
That
Okay.
sounds pretty good to me. I mean,
Alright, so
Okay.
He wasn't injured.
I mean, obviously Kamara had a better
He
year.
can
than
play a full
McCaffrey, but
season.
that's-
I know we're talking
Has-
about. I know we're talking about this year, but C-Mac is.
We're talking about
had
who do you
1,000
want
yard
on your
both
team?
sides of the
Who do you
ball.
want on your
Who do you
team?
want
I
on
would
your team
rather
to
have
take
McCaffrey
the ability
on
to
my
play
team
a
than
full
Kamara.
the ability to play a full season to me means a lot.
He misses one.
Yeah,
C-Mac
it's
misses
not like
one
this is a
season, he's not
recurring
top
issue
2
for
anymore.
McCaffrey.
CMC's still on my list, obviously.
I said not
Yeah.
top 2.
He's number
Is he-
3 for me.
Is he number 3
He's
for
2
you?
for me.
They're very close.
He's not number
Wow,
3
I
for
just
me.
saw yours.
Nick
Okay.
Chubb, number 3.
I think that's respectable. He's my number 3 too, but Alvin Kamara should not be number 2.
But he is.
He's usually number 4.
My number 4 is Dalvin Cook. And number 5, CMC.
Switch Alvin Kamara and CMC, and I
to put this
completely
in
love your list.
perspective, I have Dalvin Cook number 2. Whatever. I can't speak right. But my number
You
2
have
is
Cook
Dalvin
number
Cook.
2?
Yes, because
I mean,
I have Henry 3. Because Henry is not much of a pass catcher. And
No way.
if you watch him, he got shut down by the Ravens. Is that not the reason the Titans lost?
That is the exact reason the Titans lost.
Okay. So I still think he's amazing. I think
We're
he's
gonna
great.
take away the first
I love-
2,000-yard season
I love
since
him.
Adrian Peterson.
I love him. I think he's great. But he's number 3.
I think the top
I think
4
that's
are all
bold
pretty
to
close.
say.
I mean, I don't
That
have
is
Chubb
bold,
in there,
but-
but I think for me, Henry, McCaffrey, Cook, and Kamara are all pretty close to each other. I have Henry, McCaffrey, Cook, then Kamara. But I think all 4 of those are pretty close.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, I have Kamara 4. So
I think your top 5 has to be Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Nick Chubb in some order.
we can't speak today.
None of
anyways.
us can talk right now.
Okay,
So
so
we're
let's
having issues.
So
Here,
y'all
let
also
me-
do top 5?
Let me tell you my
Technical
top 3.
issues.
That's
because
my top
everybody,
five. I've
basically
Chubb
everybody
5.
said their top 3, so let me go ahead. I got Derrick Henry 1, C-Mac 2, and Nick Chubb 3. I think, honestly,
high.
like...
My God.
You were insanely high, Nick Chubb.
No.
Both of you are.
That's not high, though. Listen, let me
What's-
explain.
why are you-
I'm not even looking at his receiving stats. If we only look at Nick Chubb's running stats, he has 1,000
Crazy,
yards,
dude.
and he missed 6 games.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
And he shares with Kareem
And he
Hunt.
shares with Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Like
I love
Nick
Chubb.
Chubb. I'm not super high on Nick Chubb, but
If
you
he
gotta
played,
respect
if he
that
played
man.
a full season,
He was
as
on
an
pace to get,
undisputable
like-
number 1.
He was on pace to do something crazy.
That's why that's a good
I mean,
argument. You can
he's-
make that argument.
He's
for
still
Nick
got
Chubb.
a ton of carries, though. I mean, not as much as like
I mean,
Henry
he
or
still
Cook,
majority
but
carries.
just about more.
He
Just
did
about as much
majority,
as
but he missed 6
anyone
games
else.
is my thing.
Not like those two, but about as much as everyone else.
He was basically averaging 120, 110 yards.
He had the
I
most
would-
yards per carry.
That's
I wouldn't
good.
say
He
it's
did have
in
the
that.
most yards.
He
I
had the
wouldn't
most
say
yards
it's
per
in
carry.
that.
That's a very important
That's
stat
fair.
for a
Like,
running running
I'm
back.
putting Nick Chubb.
That's fair.
at
Although
number
I also,
3.
running back.
I also think the Browns have the best line in the league, and I think that's
That is-
part of
they
why.
do.
Are you saying best
Chubb is-
running? Like
Remember
running
when
They
O-line?
have the best run block O-line.
Remember when
Overall,
Zeke,
I
remember
have
when
the
Zeke had the best line
Pack was
in
healthy.
and he had
Yeah,
such a
they
great
have
season,
O-line
and
overall.
look what happened this season.
The only reason
now
now
we're
got to Aaron Rodgers so much is
No,
because
that
Bakhtiari
was
was
the
out.
exact opposite argument. I think.
Even then, though, they got
I mean, I
through
still
the
have him
guys.
in my top 5. I don't think he's bad or anything. I just
Wait till
think
you hear
that the
Tristan's
line
number
was
6.
Once you hear Collins
I
number
mean,
7,
you
that's
know
why
I'm
I
a
was
Cowboys
tripping.
fan. I'm pretty sure you're.
That's why I was tripping over here because I
So my
took
number-
a glance at Collins' list and I couldn't believe
I'm not
what I
high
saw.
on him.
Collins
Yeah.
on 3. So y'all say 4 and 5.
All right, so I'll start with my 4 and 5. So after Nick Chubb, I have Dalvin Cook. I think he's a great guy. He missed a lot of games
Yeah.
too, and he still performed, especially in a
He
very.
didn't miss a
I
ton.
missed 1 or 2.
It's my 4.
He didn't miss a lot. Okay, still, but
I mean, he has
missed
had
games.
some
He
injury
missed
problems
two.
throughout
He
his
missed
career.
games and still was top 3 or 4 in rushing.
I don't think he's
which is
played a
very
full
impressive.
season yet.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Yeah.
But and then my number 5 is Aaron Jones. I know a lot of people don't like him.
That's really high.
Oh
my! Explain.
I don't like him.
Where's
He's not even on my list.
He's on mine.
Who do you think
Not
I said was
mine.
number 7?
I was like,
I'm talking about John.
Here's my thing. The reason he's number 5 isn't because he's number 5. It's because I think 5, 6, and 7 are interchangeable on my list.
Okay.
I think because my number. Okay, let me explain my 5, 6, 7. My 5, 6, 7 is Alvin Kamara.
At 7. He's 7, by
He's
the way.
only 5, 6. Okay, I literally just said that they were only.
He's
on
7
there for
on your
6.
phone.
They're all tied for 5th. I think they could all be 5. The problem is.
he should be higher.
Okay, 5. I am not high on Alvin Kamara. You'll know that. Okay, 5, 6, and 7 are Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara. I think they're both very close. Saquon Barkley's hard to say, but he's still respectable.
I just want people to know he did call Alvin Kamara a receiver. If you haven't
He's
seen
a
that video,
receiving back.
I'll put it in the description with the link. Go watch it
He's a receiving
and see
back.
how. No, you called him a receiver.
You called him
didn't
a
call
wide receiver.
That was for
receiving
the sake
back.
of saying he was a receiver, but he's a
You said that
receiving
many
back.
times. You've
back.
been saying that for like a month.
It's
called him
on
a
record.
wide
Go
receiver.
watch it.
That's
The link will be in the description.
exaggeration.
I'm gonna say my 4 and 5. It's
Okay.
I have Kamara at 4, and you convinced me with Chubb with the stats. You talked about putting him at 5 over Saquon
He's
at
respectable.
6.
He's respectable for a top 5 running back.
Because I mean, Saquon was out for the year with the torn ACL. We don't know how he's gonna come back.
No idea.
I love Saquon.
And he played
so-
bad.
And didn't play.
They have no O line, man. They have
Yeah.
Neither
no.
does Joe Mixon, but we keep talking about how bad Joe Mixon is.
Saquon was better.
You can't judge him off
Saquon was
one
definitely
game,
better.
and then he got hurt the next game. Like it's kind of a small.
Y'all
sample
judge
size.
Joe Mixon off a
Joe
3
Mixon-
back.
Hold on. Here's the difference.
He
Joe
played
They weren't
every
even
game.
bad.
Hey, Joe Mixon's first game was not against a good defense. You know who Saquon Barkley played his first game?
Was it
The
Pittsburgh?
Steelers.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
They have one of the best run defenses in the league. I don't care about their strength of opponent. They're one of the best run defenses.
And that was before they
That
lost
is,
Devin Bush.
that is a
too.
very hard team to face, especially
It's a really
week
tough
1.
team.
Okay, well, my
Pretty
number
sure they played the Ravens.
my number 6 is
I don't-
Saquon Barkley because it's so hard to deny. Like after
Even if it was the Ravens.
my
amazing season he had last year. Number 7, I have Aaron Jones. I
my
like
7.
Aaron Jones.
Damn, Sam, I messed with your list, man.
Number 8,
You're not
I have
bad.
James Robinson.
Oh.
I think he had a really good season.
Thanks, Sam. We got some. I said 8.
Wait, you had James Robinson at 8?
I have him at 8.
I have a 9.
Dude, Sam!
Do we
let's
all have-
go!
Are we the same
Except for
somewhere?
Shaq, we all have-
Not the exact same,
But,
but
like,
I had
doesn't
Chubb
have
lower
an
than
eight. He's
you.
at
I had
9.
Chubb
Wait,
at
wait,
5,
wait.
but like close.
Okay,
and
hold
I
on.
agreed with your Chubb.
Let's
take.
take a minute, Tristan. Just read your whole list all the way through.
Okay.
I want to hear your list all the way through.
before we
Start at 1.
Okay,
Start
start
at 1.
at 1 is Henry, then McCaffrey, then Cook, then Kamara, then Chubb, then Zeke,
Oh,
then Saquon, then Aaron Jones, then Robinson, then Eckler.
Okay.
say that last part again. Zeke and then
Zeke,
Saquon.
and then Saquon, Aaron Jones,
Zeke's better than
Robinson,
Saquon?
then Eckler. Yes, I do.
There's an argument there.
No, there's not.
But Zeke,
Yes,
Yes, there
this year-
is. There is
problem
100% an argument there.
No, there is. There definitely is. But
Yeah.
the problem is this year he
Put Saquon in Zeke's line a couple years ago.
he
but
lost.
I'm not
They
gonna
lost Dak, and Zeke all of a sudden became meh.
They
He
didn't
became
just lose Dak,
average.
though. They lost the O-line. They
Part of it-
losing both
Saquon
of those
has
things.
Daniel
hurt.
Jones in that
never had a
bum
quarterback
O-line.
to have to
Saquon's better.
lose.
Here's
Yeah,
the
and
difference.
and last year
Here's
he
the
wasn't
difference.
great.
Like you know how we talked about how you flip Allen and Mahomes in that situation. You put any running back in the situation Zeke had 2 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Any running
It's
back.
GG's.
Oh, okay.
Any running back. I'm dead
I thought you were
serious.
going to say this season. I was
No.
like, are you kidding
But-
me?
No,
So that's
any
not fair.
that line 2 years ago, you put any running back.
So
Well, you could
Shoot,
say
you put Keith Jackson behind that O line. He's rushing for something.
so here's the thing though. I put James Robinson over Zeke just simply based off of this year because the Jets
Is James Robinson on?
They
Is
don't have-
Zeke
He's
on
eight.
your?
Yeah, he's 8. He's
Zeke
over
is
Zeke.
8.
No, Robinson's
Wait,
8.
and
No,
Zeke is
is
9?
Zeke's on your
He's
top
not.
10.
Zeke's 9.
He's not on my top 10.
He's
But
not.
the
Is
reason
he
I
on
have
your
him
top
over
10?
Zeke is because
So we're the
That's
only
an Ohio
ones that
State
beat
fan.
top 10.
Robinson has no
Wow.
O-line either. Has no O-line either.
But
My-
he's also a
okay,
receiving back.
I think this past
And he's
year,
down- he's
Let's
like-
talk.
he's
Let's
down-
look at
yeah,
the
yeah.
running backs on this
I'd say
list that
he's
don't
down.
have an O line. Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Ezekiel Elliott, James Robinson.
Joe Mixon has Joe Burrow now.
Those are all the teams that
But if
don't
you're talking about
truly
the
have
line.
O lines.
Jacksonville's line wasn't horrible. Like
They were pretty bad.
out of the guys you just said, Robinson
James-
probably had the best line out of those
Yeah,
guys.
I agree.
Chargers is average.
I don't have Eckler on my
I have
list, so I didn't
Eckler
say
on mine.
Eckler, but
I have Eckler.
Eckler's is average, but like
Yeah, it's
My
better.
bad.
I'm talking about bottom of the league. Those are the bottom leagues in the line.
You're not gonna like my 9 and 10.
Who are you 9 and 10?
No, I got Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
Kareem.
That's fair.
Kareem.
I
Punt.
don't hate it.
He's
have
top
one-
15
I
for
don't
me.
hate it.
I have one that you.
I thought you said I would
think
hate
I'll
it. That's not.
It's
that
sad.
bad.
Number
He's
10
not on mine.
And number 10, I have Josh Jacobs.
I think
That's my 10.
that's my 7.
He didn't make mine.
Really?
He's above James Robinson for me. So a pure running back. I think he is
He
like.
had a bad year.
I
He
think
did not
he's
have a
like
great year.
I want to say like baby
He played
version
the
of.
whole
Like
year.
I think he's a smaller version of Derrick Henry. That's what I think. If you've watched
Doesn't
him
get the
play, he's
production
insane.
like it.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
okay.
Guess what? That's a good
So
line.
I don't know if you. I want you to look at stats though. And if you look at stats, great, cool. He looks worse. But if you look at the way John Gruden runs his offense, he's taking him out and like resting him. So a lot of like that's the whole reason the Ravens running backs were something to avoid in fantasy this year is because the Ravens took people and rested people and like were mixing them around so
They
that
were
they would
rotating
have
more.
running backs in the playoffs.
I think J.K. Dobbins is now
And I
the
think the
number one.
Raiders,
Yeah.
He's
the
now the
Raiders were
clear-cut
doing the
number
same
one.
thing where they held Jacobs so they could use him in the playoffs because they were going to make the playoffs for a while. They didn't make the playoffs, but they were
It
trying
looked
to
like
keep
they were
him
gonna make it at
healthy,
first.
which is an issue with running backs if you look at it near the end of the year.
I don't know. I mean,
I think
Because
he
that's-
did
that's
take
what I
touches
need the
though. It
most.
wasn't like
You know how they
He
beat
wasn't
the
getting-
Chiefs though?
he wasn't getting
Josh
like
Jacobs.
Derrick
Josh
Henry
Jacobs
got
had a
touches.
huge game against the Chiefs.
hold on.
That's how they beat him.
Hold on. So I think
They use him when they need to.
unless you have like something saying that they could also be like preserving him to be longer. Running backs don't last that long, and if you do that, they're gonna last a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
then you probably won't be successful because you need to mix it
do
up.
what they need.
He didn't,
Unless
he
you're- unless
didn't
you're-
technically. Did
Devontae
he get
Booker was
injured?
doing great. No, he didn't.
No,
he
he never got injured.
Devontae Booker was so.
He had the
Oh no,
questionable
he
weeks,
had
but-
yeah.
But like it wasn't actual injuries.
I don't know.
Devontae Booker
Nothing
came in and did
major.
amazing too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if you can like
He's a
put
good back.
different guys in there. Honestly, I don't know why. Like,
Back
I
is
know
good.
not anyone in the NFL can just be good at certain positions,
Yeah.
especially running back. But I think if
Well, no,
I think
Running
teams-
back is the most
hold
replaceable.
on, this is going to be
position in my
kind of controversial. I think teams should honestly look into like getting random guys that are good and putting them in because
In-
nobody has film on them and
in-
they can't do anything.
In my
you saying
opinion,
like
the
quarterback?
two most
No,
replaceable.
he's saying running back.
In my
Right.
opinion, the two most replaceable positions in football that aren't like special teams in those weird positions, like we're talking the 22 guys on offense and
Yeah.
defense,
Yeah.
is running back and wide receiver.
I agree.
I see a
That's fair.
new star wide receiver,
That's
new
fair.
star running back every year.
and
you don't
like, think
see
about
that.
this.
I think
Think
running
about-
back is more replaceable than
No,
receiver. but
running
I
back-
think
Yes, running back's more,
100%
more
easy.
replaceable.
but those are the
You
two.
don't think so?
100%.
No, yeah, I agree.
That's
Running back's more
100%.
replaceable.
Let me add to this argument. The Jets picked up some dude named Ty Johnson, I think. I don't think that was his name. It's something like that.
He was.
I have
That's
no
different.
clue who that was.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a picture
played
in
well.
fantasy football. That's how unknown this dude
Yeah.
was. He ran for 143 yards
Yeah.
against like
And that's a bad Jets O-line.
it's a horrible
Are we going to talk about how
against a horrible team.
the Rams picked up an account and won a playoff game at quarterback?
Okay, that's a little different.
Different subject.
I mean, like,
but yeah.
That's
He
it.
didn't even play that
Yeah,
playoff
he barely.
game.
Oh no,
played.
he won. He still won the game before the.
That's
the
because
Yeah.
Kyler
Yeah.
got hurt in the first two snaps of the offensive possession.
Okay,
So
an
it was
accountant
backup versus
an
backup.
accountant versus a backup quarterback.
I think the Cardinals' backup is worse than the accountant.
But he was the actual bad.
I'm just saying they found an account and he turns out to be better than most backup.
I mean, he
quarterbacks.
wasn't just some like
He
he
was-
played.
I mean, he
before.
played in college and he played in the AAF.
Yeah.
And then
you
they
can
picked
say
him
that.
up.
You can say that about almost any back.
Johnny Manziel played in the
quarterback.
AAF. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Wasn't that the guy that
Johnny
started
Manziel
over
can't
Johnny
make an
Manziel?
NFL roster.
Hey man,
I mean,
that-
at this point,
hey the fan favorite league,
The
Johnny
fan control
Manziel,
league,
yeah, the
bro.
fan control
Oh.
league. Johnny Manziel gonna show up. Then you gotta make an NFL.
All right, can I talk about my 9 and 10?
Yeah,
Sure,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Number 9, Joe Mixon. Hear me out before we start.
I
Of
think
course.
there's an argument.
Hear me out before we
There's not
start.
an argument.
There really is.
Not
you,
this
just,
year.
you just annoy me with how far you push this, but continue.
I have to push it because of how bad.
No, I know.
When I talked to him, he
I
didn't even
know.
have him in his
I
top
know.
20. When I talked
Okay, that was a little bit of a joke.
That's
I was
exaggerated.
putting like J.K. Dobbins above him and he's splitting the three backs. Which next year I think J.K. Dobbins will be better if he's the one
Oh,
who's
yeah.
split the running back.
No,
one.
he
If-
won't.
if he's
I think
the running
Dobbins is
back
going to be
one,
great next year.
yeah, because they dropped Mark Ingram.
They dropped Mark Ingram. It's literally
They
just
didn't
J.K.
care.
Yes, they
They
did.
dropped Mark Ingram.
They released
They
him with
I don't
Tremont
care.
I think we could be talking about Dobbins next year in this
could.
conversation. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
I
if he ended up
guarantee
being a
J.K.
top 10.
Dobbins.
Let me
That makes me
explain.
excited.
Let me explain to some of the people on this table that think that that's not a good.
I don't
He
think
would have been
it's
top
insane.
7 on my list last year.
Who? Joe Mixon?
Definitely, he was top 5 in rushing on a
No,
terrible
no,
Bengals
that's
team.
last year, but
Last
this
year,
isn't
he would have
last
been
year.
on my top 10.
Then why is Saquon on all our lists?
Because he didn't play at all. We saw Joe Mixon, and he wasn't good.
Saquon did play.
He played
terrible.
There's a difference.
Okay,
No,
I have a quick
Wait.
little anecdote of when me and Sam were in the car. Me and Sam were talking after 2 games of Saquon,
One game.
and he's like,
It was before he got hurt. He only played one.
He only
game.
played
He
one.
only played
one and a half,
One and a
sorry.
half.
Not
okay.
even.
So we're after that one game, and Sam was like, "Man, Saquon was terrible. That Giants O-line is terrible." And I'm like, "Dude, Joe Mixon has it bad too." Because Joe Mixon had a bad game, and I was like, "Cause of that O-line." Like we were both in the same boat.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Joe Mixon didn't play the Steelers.
just looking
Not
at
that
that, he had his best games against the better run defenses. His best games were against Indianapolis.
His
That was
best
probably when
game
Joe
Baltimore.
Burrow was also playing
He
good.
had one.
He also had.
crazy game.
That was probably when Joe Burrow was playing
He
good.
only had one good game. Like,
Yeah.
okay, let me take that back. He had one elite game where if he did that,
That was
live,
okay. That was like
It was a great
that was
game.
a
that's
crazy
different.
And then
Joe-
no,
and
but
then-
everything else wasn't like there was like maybe one
he
other
had-
game that was
answer
good.
me
He had
this.
some
Who's
solid
playing
games. He
better?
didn't have
No,
anything
he didn't have
else
solid
good
games.
enough
He had
to make
one.
him get on the
Mixon
list.
or
Who's better, Dan
Mixon.
Jones or Joe Burrow? Who played better this year?
Who? Joe Burrow.
Okay. Having a better quarterback helps a
Yes.
lot.
You saw that with Zeke.
Yes, you did. Once he was fine.
But
once
Joe
Dak
Burrow
got
didn't
hurt,
get
even without,
set.
even with those O-line
Joe
injuries.
Mixon got better when Joe Burrow got better. You can see that.
Yeah.
in
That's
the
what we're
stats.
saying.
That's what we're saying.
So y'all are holding those bad games when Joe Burrow wasn't set yet
No,
against
I'm
Joe
not. I'm
Mixon.
saying the bad
He
games
is.
the bad games when they had Joe Burrow because he only
But
had one
the
good game with
difference
Joe
is the difference is Joe Burrow
had
wasn't
3
playing
good games
bad.
with Joe Burrow.
Like,
He had an
average and then
Hear
one
me out,
crazy.
hear me out.
He had a 15 carries, 60 yards, but he had a touchdown.
That's a good game?
And then
That's
he had
average.
40 receiving yards. He had 100 total
That's
all-purpose
average.
yards. and
That's
he had a
average.
touchdown.
That's average.
That is not average.
That's
that is not
average in the
top
NFL.
10. That's
It's
not
not-
that's
that's average.
top
It's not
10
elite.
this year. This year that is not
That's
top
not an
10.
elite game, dude.
There are
Every
a lot
single
of
one of these guys in
who
this
are
list
doing
have done this. Except for Saquon last year because he only had one game.
I'm
Every
looking
single
at
one of these
guys
guys
on
did this.
Tristan's list that had
that. Okay, Tristan's a
bad
little
games.
special.
Aaron Jones, Zeke. Guys that have worse games than that. Much worse games than that.
But I'm
Austin Eckler.
They
missed
also
one
had
more,
more
and he
those
didn't
games.
perform that
These
well.
guys also
But
we're
we're
not
not
saying they're
one
bad
great
games.
game.
We're saying those are just good games, and you're counting them. You're saying they're
Yeah,
good.
not
and
as
they're
great
average.
as that. Who had the highest high of all those guys?
Henry.
Joe Mixon. No, I'm talking about the guys I named, including Joe Mixon. Who had the highest high?
He had the one game and then he didn't do.
not gonna
He didn't have another great game outside of
Because
that.
Joe Mixon's also one of those guys like we talked
Obviously
about with
the
Josh
highest.
Jacobs. They have Bernard and Pirine.
Jacobs, I'm pretty sure.
And they
Jacobs
put
is pretty close.
Bernard is the receiving back. It's like Naeem Hines and Jonathan
Elker,
Taylor.
if he played
It's
not
Naeem.
as good,
Yes,
if he played
okay,
close
it's
to
not
that. He
as
played
severe,
average,
but
but
it's
still
like
getting 20
that.
points a game.
And when Colin talked to me about that, he was like, when Bernard played as a number one, and I was like,
Aaron Jones.
yeah.
All
When
of them.
Naeem Hines played as a number one, and it was just. But that's fantasy too. That's fantasy football.
Okay, but fantasy.
You look. You
It's kind of their overall
also
play.
you also look at when Joe Burrow played his best football when Joe Mixon was on the field because teams had to game plan for Joe
Hold on.
Mixon and it
Joe
opened
Mixon
the
never
field for
left
Joe
the
Burrow.
field.
Joe Burrow played his best because he got hurt.
Yeah, you had no chance.
You had no chance to play without him, really. We only saw like how many games did he play without Joe
No,
Mixon?
It was, I think it
Joe
was-
Joe Mixon was out
Not
at
a
week
lot.
6. He played like 4 weeks after and he didn't play as well. He played his best weeks of football those weeks 4 through 6.
I just want
He
to see
did.
what teams
He
they
did.
played after that.
I'm like 99% sure that you're wrong. Because he was playing like an absolute beast. I was seeing him all over my
Joe
Instagram
Burrow
feed.
only played
when,
well until
but
he
right
got hurt.
before the injury. Like
He's
he was
playing
playing his
well.
best. Because I remember I kept seeing that. Y'all know that video of him where he like dives into the
Oh, yeah.
freaking like first down, and the ref's like, you got to slide, right?
Okay.
And then he's like, yeah, I'm still trying to learn how to do that. That was when he was in his best play this year, and that was towards the end of the year.
His best games were against we're talking yards.
Division rivals.
Were against week 2, week 3, week 4, week 6, week 7. So the only
That's Mixon's games, right?
yes, all of those were
So
Mixon's
those are
games.
all
Okay,
pro.
but this is different though. If you look at this, his last decent game, I mean, I'm not gonna say great, was against Tennessee. That's an okay defense.
Horrible. No, the defense was horrible.
Okay, it's horrible, but
He had
still.
250
Yeah.
yards
But
and
hold
2
on.
touchdowns.
Hold on, you look
without
at
Joe Mixon.
You look at the next 2 games.
not bad.
Pittsburgh and
No.
Washington,
And then he
Two
got
great
injured in the
defenses.
Washington game.
and he got injured in the
Those are
Washington.
really, really, really good.
Those are
But he,
crazy.
he played well against Indy.
Indy's
Yeah,
a solid
Indy's
defense.
is
Indy's a
defense.
great defense.
They're a weird
Yeah.
defense, in my
But
opinion.
when at the time he played Indy,
No,
Indy was the best defense in the league.
Indy's
At the time.
weird.
But that was
Like, unlike
They
Washington
were better
or
in the
Steelers
first
and
half
stuff
year than
like
they were in
that,
the second.
their defense would randomly let stuff. Like, I don't know what was going on.
Kind of
there.
like, yeah.
all I'm
They-
saying
they
is
were big
all
don't break.
all I'm
They let
saying
yards
is,
happen, they
if
wouldn't
Saquon
score.
doesn't fall from your list, then Mixon shouldn't fall.
I think Mixon was never on.
Mixon was borderline.
Mixon
for me
wouldn't have been on
anyway.
your list last year.
I really didn't pay much attention last year. I'm not gonna lie. So
If Robinson
Saquon was
around,
top 5 for me last
if
year. Now he's
Robinson was
7.
around
Like Mixon
and
was
Cook
like
wasn't
9 or
injured
10,
last
and
year,
now he's off.
He wouldn't be. If Robinson was around last year and Cook wasn't injured last year, he wouldn't be.
Mixon would be 10. Because
At best.
I would have Zeke last year over Mixon.
Because he would have been up there.
Zeke showed me this year that he needs
Elker played
the
really well
supporting.
last year.
Zeke isn't on my top 10 because Zeke showed me this year that he needs so much
Elker played well
support
last year,
to
guys.
succeed.
Who doesn't? Who isn't gonna?
When he
who
had-
is
Joe
gonna-
Burrow. I mean, no, Joe Mixon.
Does Joe Mixon have a bunch of rookies?
Yes. And he had Andy Dalton last year as his quarterback. He had the exact same situation
They
last
didn't have
year.
a bunch of rookies. This is like the LeBron
Yeah.
argument. You go and make an argument, and then I look up the stats, and it's completely wrong.
T. Higgins,
I think-
and Joe Burrow are the only rookies I know of on that team.
Exactly.
That's this year. I'm talking about last
Right.
year when
They had a
Joe
bunch of
Mixon
rookie
had his.
offensive linemen.
I'm talking about last year when
I don't know
Joe
enough.
Mixon.
I don't know what.
I
off the top of
don't
my
know
head.
that specifically, but
So
I'll look that up
so
after this.
I'm looking at that up.
But it's a bad
Then
offensive
if-
line.
if
It's
they
a
don't
bad
have
offensive
the
line.
rookies,
Not
don't
Hold on,
say
hold
it.
on. Let me explain something.
Why did Tony Pollard succeed
Let
more
me-
than Zeke with that same offensive line? And Andy
He
Dalton.
had one good game. That means
Yeah, he
absolutely
wasn't-
nothing. They have no film on that guy.
But the
When
that
it's
was
tough- well,
that
okay,
was
no,
Film
no,
doesn't matter
game-
with running back.
That was
Film,
that was the
running over
Cowboys'
running
If
back.
you've
advantage
never
a little
seen,
bit.
if
It's
you've
not a
never
huge
seen a
thing.
running back.
That was the Cowboys'
got a
best
different
statistical
style.
game. Like that was Andy Dalton's best throwing game was
Warner,
when Zeke didn't play.
If you're a skill running back, film matters. If you're like Derrick Henry, then no, it doesn't. But if you're a guy
Depends
like
on the running back.
I do agree, and Tony Pollard is one of those guys.
Let's just
He's a crafty dude.
let's just look at it in perspective of what Zeke had this year to what Joe Mixon had last year. Both
It was
had
worse.
terrible defenses.
Hold on.
No. Let's talk about it. Both had Andy Dalton. They literally
They
both,
both
had
had
Andy
Andy
Dalton.
Dalton. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They both had okay. Zeke had a worse offensive line.
Yes.
but
Yes, he definitely.
it was a bad offensive line in Cincinnati as well.
So here's the difference: is
Both had good wide receivers.
nope,
No.
nope. AJ Green was injured. He's been gone.
Oh, so they had worse wide receivers.
That's the whole point, though.
They did-
Because the
the
only thing they
Bengals
had
did
was
have
Joe
worse.
Mixon. So what are they
So
going
why
to
aren't they stacking
Give
the
Joe
box?
Mixon the ball.
No, then they're stacking the box. Why aren't they? They were stacking the box.
They had worse receivers than Dallas had this year, but
Yes.
they didn't have bad
Then
receivers.
why aren't they stacking the box? Colin's argument was Zeke's playing back
They
is
passed
not only is the offensive line bad, but they're stacking the box. Imagine what they did to Joe Mixon last year. I didn't watch the
Zeke's
Bengals like
better
that
than
last
Joe
year because they
Mixon.
were
I didn't
terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, but then if you didn't
When you're
watch-
playing the
stacking the
Bengals, you're not
box.
going to stack the box. You're
But
playing
if
the
they have
Bengals.
Joe Mixon, you're stacking the box, and they have Andy Dalton
No,
and those
he's
bad
not
receivers.
that guy.
They weren't
No,
bad
because they
receivers.
played
He
from
was
behind.
that guy last
Because
year.
they played from behind.
He was a top 5
They played
rusher
from
last
behind.
year.
You don't stack the box when
They
you're
were
up.
losing
You don't
so much
stack.
that-
Yeah, you don't stack the box if you're
Don't.
up 21 to 3.
You just let them run the 5
You
yards.
let them
every
run
play.
the ball and
Because
let
if they
them
run
run
5
the
yards
ball.
every
Take
play,
time off
it
the
takes
clock.
time off the
Out
clock.
and keep your
So you
offense
want
on
them
the
to run.
Cowboys were losing,
You want them to run
and
5
they were
yards
still
every
stacking
play.
the box.
They were also playing in one of the probably not
Worst
one,
division.
the worst
There was-
division in
that
football.
division was competitive.
The worst division in the last few years.
The worst division like I've
The games were
ever
competitive.
seen.
Yeah, maybe that
Teams
NFC
all
South
sucked.
that 1 year.
Yeah.
That 1 year.
But
maybe.
the point
That's
is,
the only thing that comes close.
Can I add
It was
to this?
bad.
Can I add to this? Another part that I think the reason that the Cowboys' offensive line was so much worse than Cincinnati's with Joe Mixon last year is because offensive linemen and like that whole line depends on cohesion and working well together. Like if you look at Texas A&M, I know you don't like them. They have 5 O linemen who are ridiculously good.
Been playing together.
But it's because they've been playing together since they were freshmen, except the one guy who's a sophomore. They're ridiculous. Is one of them getting drafted in the first round?
No.
No. Is one of them getting drafted in the second round?
No.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably
I
not.
didn't
Is one
see-
getting drafted?
But they
in
were
the
the
third?
they were
Is one
the,
getting-
statistically like the best.
They were
They
statistically
gave up 2 sacks before the bowl game. 2 sacks the whole season.
That
Or
is
4,
insane.
2 or 4.
In
They
the
gave up 2 in the
SEC.
Alabama game and 4 total in a all SEC
in
game.
the SEC, dude.
All
Like,
SEC conference.
I think like it's
all SEC
about
schedule.
it's about working well
Chill out.
together.
The SEC was not
That's
good
the
this
thing.
year.
Like with
outside of
Dallas, their
It
line
was a bad
changed
SEC
so
year.
much that like
Ole Miss
they couldn't
beat number
get that.
11 ranked Indiana in the bowl game, and they weren't even ranked out of the SEC.
Indiana was missing their star quarterback who got injured the last game of the year, but that's okay.
Ole
We're
Miss
not
was-
getting into college
Hold
football.
on. Let me finish my thought.
Ole Miss
So
was
another thing is, so you already have a bunch of rookies in the like on the line. You had 2 injuries that ended for the season. One that was like lingering and came in and out, and then a guy retired. Okay, so you're missing the entire O line.
I'm telling you, Zeke
Hold
had
on,
a bad
hold on.
situation.
Let me-
but Joe Mixon had a bad one too.
Let me finish my thought so I can tell
and
you
he
what I'm trying to
produced
compare.
more.
Let me tell you what I'm trying to compare. The other difference is that guy who had a lingering injury kept going in and out of the O-line. That messes with the O-line 1. 2, Andy Dalton came in the middle of the season. It's not like, I'm not going to lie, Andy Dalton he's okay.
Yeah.
He's not good. But the thing
He's not
about
gonna
Andy
win
Dalton
you
with the Bengals is Andy Dalton was with the Bengals for like, what, 6 years?
What's
There's
that?
a
Wait,
reason
wait,
they
wait.
let him go to
No,
trade.
I know.
They
She's
were
not
the
bad.
worst
Okay.
team in the league.
Okay, you two.
I heard something. It's time for our next segment.
I'm okay with that. I just wanted
Next segment? Okay.
Next
The
segment.
producers are telling us to, keep going. We don't have producers.
Yeah,
I mean,
Producers?
we are the producers.
All right, now it's time for our next segment. We're going to talk about the big men in the NBA and how we rank the top 6 all time.
Just taking the reins.
Guess taking the reins. All right, so do y'all want to just say our number
who's
one
the
and
number
then we'll
one?
go down from there? My number 1 is Kareem.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Anything else is wrong.
anybody
He's
not
the
have
all-time
Kareem?
leading
Number one.
scorer. He should be number 1, and I don't think it's up for debate. I think someone on this table has.
No.
Do we all have Kareem?
I think
Kareem.
You have Kareem?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought when we talked before you said something else.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna come here and be like Tim Duncan.
Me?
Yes.
No, I have Kareem.
Not over Kareem.
Not over Kareem,
It's
but I
over
have.
Kareem.
I know you have him next.
Okay, we get to number 2. I have Tim Duncan at 2 for big man. I think Tim Duncan is the second best big man of all time, behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Well, here I think you're wrong.
Why? Why do you think I'm
better.
wrong?
Shaq is
Why is Shaq?
Hey, Colin, you got Shaq too?
I think Hakeem Olajuwon has an argument, maybe not rings, but he has an argument as a player.
Wilt
Still has 2
Chamberlain has an
wins.
argument.
Wilt has
Just
an
how
argument.
dominant he was. There was no one that could stop him.
Like, listen,
He played against Denton.
I understand that, but there's nothing you can't count that against him. The dude, he
Hold on,
was
take-
unstoppable.
You have to take this into account too.
If you played in today's
Wilt
league,
Chamberlain in this
if you
era,
he's just a 7'3" center. He's just a
what are
7'3"
7'3"
center.
centers doing?
They're destroying
What are they
him.
doing in this league?
And they could move like him.
Yeah.
If they
Giannis
could, Will
is
could
Playing
move.
right now would be the
Giannis
best center in the league.
Giannis
Giannis-
isn't a center.
Okay, but he's a big man. He's a big guy.
Giannis is
7'3"
probably the
and could
closest
move.
thing in the NBA now to what Wilt
Wilt's
was.
my number 2.
Exactly.
Was he wouldn't be that now?
Yes, he would.
wouldn't.
He'd be maybe Kristaps Porzingis is 7'3".
I don't know.
Kristaps Porzingis. Is
All I know is I'm
How are we
Okay,
feeling
but
about
he's
Kristaps
not the
Porzingis?
He's a
I
better
was
shooter and
but
not as
Yeah,
great an
yeah,
athlete.
Giannis,
He's a better athlete. He's faster. I bet.
Giannis has no shot, but he's athletic and he's big. That would be Wilt Chamberlain.
And Wilt
Because
Chamberlain
Wilt
can
Chamberlain
move.
would have grown up with a lot more. When they were playing Dennis, they had no weight room.
was a
The weight room did not exist.
10 new
I think he
player
was,
now.
he was quick.
Wilt's
It's not
one of the
like he was
hardest
like a-
players to
it was
rank
not like he was a
because
big
of
man
the
that couldn't
era he
move.
played in.
What has my respect for the
Compared to
amount
the
of
numbers
girls
he
he
put up.
pulled?
Yes.
He's not better than the big men I just named.
Wilt's my
He was
goat
more
just for that.
dominant. That's the thing. If you want to put like if you
Dominant
drop-
in that era.
Yes,
no. If we're talking about
that's what I'm
dominant,
saying.
Bill Russell dominated Wilt.
But here's the thing.
Bill Russell's team.
Bill Russell's
dominated.
over Wilt for me because you look at the stats when they played each other. They played in the same era. Bill Russell has 11 rings.
What
How many
stats are we
rings?
looking at? The rings or
Is it
the
2?
And then
the
head-to-head.
actual stats?
And then look at head to head.
What
Bill
what was
Russell
Wilt's team,
defensively.
though? What was
Bill
Wilt's
Russell's
team?
technically the most statistically dominant defensive player of all time. Statistically, Bill Russell.
I think you're forgetting about someone very
Like
important.
half the guys that
Hold on,
Bill
hold
Russell
on,
played
hold
with.
Who?
Rudy Gobert held the league to 0 points for a long time.
That's true.
For those who don't get it, COVID.
Yeah,
Go look
he-
it
Did
up.
anybody not get that?
It was gonna happen.
I love Will.
But
Hey, I hope you editing crickets for how bad that and overused that joke
Please.
was.
it's a good joke. It's classic.
It's a solid.
Okay, so my number
Little
2,
overused.
we all have Kareem in 1. My number 2 is the most dominant player of all time, Shaquille
For like 2
O'Neal.
years.
For 2 years.
Shaquille
That's the thing. His prime was for like
He
this.
was bullied. Like you couldn't.
You know who he
Beat
didn't
the
bully?
man.
Tim Duncan. You know
He
who
beat
beat
the
Tim
man.
Duncan? You know who has more MVPs in both of their primes? Tim Duncan. You know who has more rings in both of their times?
You know who's the
Both
most?
of
You know
their
who's the most
primes?
bland?
Tim Duncan.
You know who's the most bland player I've ever seen in the NBA? Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is not
Tim
fun
Duncan-
to watch.
Tom
He's
Brady's
not
not
fun
fun
to
to watch. I don't have fun watching Tom Brady win 6 Super
kidding
Bowls.
me? I
I
love
know.
watching Tom Brady.
Why? What does he
Seriously?
do that's,
No,
that's
that's not
impressive?
greatness.
He doesn't have a good arm. He
It's
doesn't have good
watching.
legs.
It is watching greatness.
That's how I
watching
felt about
history.
Tim Duncan.
Duncan is also great.
That's why I felt like
he's
I was
not Brady
watching
great.
greatness.
Not on the same level as Brady.
He is not
Okay,
Tom Brady.
He's not
Yes.
Brady great, but he's
Tom
top 10
Brady
of all
might
time.
be one of the
Peyton
best.
Manning wasn't flashy. Peyton Manning,
Yeah,
it was just watching greatness.
Are you
okay?
yeah.
More than Brady. Who's like one of the least flashy NFL players?
Chuckles, I'm in danger.
You're
That's
asking.
great.
You're asking, but nobody knows because they're not on the. They're not up.
I just love.
If you weren't flashy, you're not good.
Brady's not flashy.
But Brady's not flashy.
I mean, I'm not saying Tim Duncan is the Brady of the NBA. He's not.
Brady isn't like
for a second, I
crazy
was like,
flashy. He doesn't have to
Like,
be flashy.
yes, Tim Duncan was the most bland player of all time,
be
but
honest.
he got it done.
He
You
was
got
great.
it done. If you get it done, you get it done. I don't care how you do it. Who's the most flashy? One of the most flashy players I've ever seen in my life is J.R. Smith. Is J.R. Smith good? No.
the Henny.
Ask Colin that question.
Off the Henny.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
J.R. Smith was good.
Yes,
At one point, he
J.R.
was good.
Smith off the Henny, yes.
Melo's one of the flashiest players I've ever seen,
And he's great.
and he's great.
He's not great.
Yeah,
He's
great.
He's good.
Oh,
He's
LaMelo,
really
or are you saying
No, Melo.
Oh,
Carmelo.
Melo.
Okay.
I thought you meant
No,
LaMelo.
Carmelo.
Ball. Is he?
I'm talking about historically. Carmelo.
LaMelo Ball would have great.
Carmelo. I don't think there was a
He's
time.
top 10 all time for me.
Was there even a time period where in
I
the
think he's
NBA
top
that he
one.
was in that he was a top 5 player in the NBA? Maybe.
There had to be.
Maybe on the Knicks at the
That's
beginning.
it, yeah.
Maybe.
Beginning
He's
of Knicks
squid, but
and Nuggets.
he was like
And the
bottom
Nuggets
top
around
5.
Corn braids,
Michael,
Melo, low
Michael.
key.
But you got to think about who else was in that league.
Exactly. You have to
Yeah.
think
Who,
about
retired AI?
But Tim Duncan was in that league.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
6 years ago,
Yes.
It was more
He
than
won the
that.
finals
I guess
6 years
Carmelo-
ago.
Carmelo came in around the time LeBron came in.
Tim
right?
Duncan
They were
got
in the
drafted the
draft
same
class.
year as LeBron and has been in the league since and was probably
So
in
Tim-
his
so
prime.
that-
when
so
Tim
that-
Melo got drafted.
Wait, so that draft class was Carmelo, Tim Duncan, and LeBron. And then
No,
No,
Tim Duncan
no,
was
no.
not on that draft class. Tim Duncan
He
was
said the
drafted
wrong
in the
thing.
90s.
He said the wrong thing.
No, I'm talking about Melo was drafted.
Melo was same year
Oh,
as
yeah,
LeBron.
that's
D-Wade, D-Wade, Bosh, Melo, and LeBron were all in that draft
One of the
class.
best draft classes of all time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've got Kareem, Duncan. Duncan played with. The reason I put Duncan over Shaq is yes, I think Shaq at a time. I think 2000 Shaq is probably the best center year ever.
Yeah.
Year.
Let me say
We're talking about player career. Tim Duncan.
Okay, let's go. Everyone go down the list.
Can I just say that if you were not a Spurs fan, you would not have Tim Duncan at number 2?
That's not true. I also want to put out this.
I have not. Hold on.
I want to. Okay, we put Michael Jordan on this GOAT pedestal, right? Let me talk. We
we've
put
had
Michael
this
Jordan on this GOAT pedestal.
What does
right?
Michael Jordan have to
Because
do with
he's
this
6-0
conversation?
in the
Just
finals. He's 6-0 in the finals, right? We're gonna talk about this. 6-0 in the finals in the 90s. Okay.
That's not the only
That's-
reason, though.
That's one of the main reasons.
That's
when
not
I
the
talk
main
to a
reason.
Jordan
That's not the main
fan, they're
reason.
like 6-0. He's 6-0. You can't touch 6-0.
Because the stats speak for themselves.
You can't touch 6
You
and
don't
0.
need to bring out some specific stats.
You can't take 6. So, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was 4-0 going into the 2013 NBA Finals to play one of the greatest teams of all time, the 2013 Heatles. They're up 3-2, about to win Game 6, and then the man Sam talked about when we talked about the late great Kobe Bryant, Ray Allen, hit one of the greatest shots of all time.
Yeah.
Ray Allen misses that shot. Tim Duncan 6-0 in the finals. How do we feel about Tim Duncan? How do we feel about him? We talk about Jordan. We put him on this pedestal. We're 6-0. One shot.
Here's the difference.
One shot.
Here's
He's 6-0
that
like
one shot
Jordan.
happened.
He's
Here's the
6-0 like
That
Jordan.
one shot happened, and he still lost the next game.
And he's 5-1.
He still lost the next game.
Here's what you're
LeBron
missing.
probably had the greatest Game 7 of all time.
Yeah.
He still lost.
Here's what you're missing. Tim Duncan has been with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, and at the end of it, Kawhi.
Hold on.
I know how
Who
much
was Michael Jordan with? He was with Pippen, Rodman, Phil Jackson. Who was
Is
Tim
Rodman-
Duncan with?
Is Rodman top 50?
Yes! He's the greatest rebounder of all time. Yes! He's the greatest
I'd take
rebounder,
him
one of the
up.
I
greatest
haven't put
defenders
my
of all
top.
time.
I
He's
don't.
top
I
50.
honestly haven't looked into a
Yes.
top 50 list.
Yeah, I haven't made
Yes.
a top 50, but
And
he would
Pippen's
probably be
top
on mine.
20.
It'd be like
Yes.
Pippen is not top 20. He's
Oh
top,
my.
He's top
Yes,
30.
he is.
He's top 25.
Top 25.
I think he's top 25.
He's in
Maybe
that
he
range.
is like
He's top 20.
He's in
I don't
the
have a
top
list written out or
25.
anything.
He's
I don't-
anywhere from like
he's some-
20 to 25.
Yeah, he's somewhere in
Michael
that
Jordan
range.
had a better supporting cast than Tim Duncan.
I think the thing with
I
Duncan
mean,
for
not
me
when
is
you have Kawhi on that team.
Kawhi wasn't Kawhi until like 2016
Bro,
when Tim
have you
Duncan
not seen the
retired.
video of LeBron in the finals when like Kawhi chased and he goes, "Damn, that kid's back in the game."
Yeah.
Have you never seen that video?
That was in 2014.
That
That's
was
the last year
Tim
Tim Duncan
Duncan
ran.
ran.
Well, I'm just saying, like Kawhi was, he
Kawhi
might not have
was
been
still Kawhi.
top
He wasn't
whatever player
scoring
in the
like
NBA.
Okay,
It doesn't matter.
He was defending like
Hold on.
Kawhi. He wasn't scoring like
You don't
Kawhi.
like Kawhi because he's a
I
good
love
scorer.
Kawhi.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you don't like him because he's a good scorer. You like him because he's a good defender.
yeah.
You literally said he's top 2 in the league because of his defense.
He's number 1 in the league for. Oh yeah, he's top 2 overall.
No,
in the league. He's
overall.
number 1 for his.
You said because of
Yeah,
his
he-
defense, and his defense
Yes.
hasn't changed.
Oh yes, he has. He's improved.
Barely.
He's improved.
he was already one of the best.
He was.
He
board-
already- he-
was
there wasn't
board
much to
man-
improve on.
He was board man gets paid
Okay,
when they
so
want
to
him.
stay on topic, so we can go down the
Yeah,
rest of
okay.
the list, so we're not stuck on this one spot. Continue
All I'm
our
saying
list.
is, I just want to summarize
No.
this.
No,
I have to
no,
summarize.
You're done.
Let me
No,
summarize.
You're done. You've had your
I'm
chance.
summarizing.
You've had your chance. You're
I'm
done, Michael.
summarizing.
You are done.
I didn't get to
Moving on.
summarize.
I don't care.
There's
I'm
no
summarizing.
need to
What's
summarize.
your
That has
number
nothing to do with what
Guys,
we're talking
done.
about.
There is.
That has nothing to do
Phil
with what we're talking
Jackson, Greg
This is
Popovich,
great.
same supporting
What's your
cast.
number
They made the
3?
same thing. Shaq.
Nobody cares. Okay, there
about.
we
Okay,
go.
guys, let me say my list.
Shaq
Number
is
one-
my 2, Duncan's
Okay,
my
number
3.
3, Hakeem. Number 4, Wilt. Number 5, Duncan. Number 6, Bill Russell. Have a good
You have
day.
Hakeem over Tim Duncan? No, Hakeem is not on the same
I
list.
agree with that list, so I'm out.
Sounds great.
Yes, sir.
You're wrong.
Yes.
You're wrong.
Nobody's wrong except you.
Sit back down. Hakeem is not better than Tim Duncan, and it's not close.
Way to end it, boys. I love it.
Michael.
You're wrong.
Years.
You kept rolling.
You kept talking about the most irrelevant